So I just wanted to say how awesome the summit has been. I really hope that you and your family have been blessed by all of the speakers. When I was picking out the speakers, I was looking for speakers that talk to us about positive parenting because that's what we use in our house. And it's so like calming and really helps to keep you like less stressed, right? And it just makes everything easier. But it also is so rewarding for your kids as well as you're teaching them to deal with the world. So I really want to give you like all of my parenting secrets, but I can only share with you like a little bit of my story today. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am an elementary teacher. I teach K-5 music, and I do general music and chorus and band. And I also have experience teaching K-12 as well. But right now I teach K-5. And I would say that my specialty is like keeping the kids active and engaged throughout the classroom. And I'm also a mama, which you guys know. This is like the most important job, right? And you know what? Like, I didn't have any real training for this. I mean, did you? We learn from our parents, the models in our lives, right? I learned a lot about teaching, a lot about like parenting through teaching and stuff. But like college didn't prepare me for the behaviors in the classroom. Like they don't teach teachers about behavior. I mean, how crazy is that, right? Luckily, I had a lot of experience with kids, like through babysitting and working in a daycare and kids camps and teaching private music lessons to over hundreds of kids. And I was the oldest of four in my family, and other experiences as well. But I mainly learned from my parents and of course those experiences, but then being in the classroom, researching and reading, but then also as a mom. And that's where I learned the most for sure. I absolutely love learning, and this means that I'm like constantly working on trying to be a better teacher and a better mama. And as parents, like I said, our most important job, it's okay to want to learn and better ourselves. I mean, we spent all that time and all that money in college, some of us, like learning our trades and our skills, but what about parenting? What kind of time and money have we put into learning to be the best parent? Our most important job, right? So Parenting Unlocked. This is I posted earlier in the group about Parenting Unlocked, and it's based on presents, not like Christmas presents or birthday presents, right? But like the presence of being there with your kids and not being distracted, and then also patience and practical parenting. So I really want to be able to impact children around the world by impacting the parents, because as a teacher, I feel like we don't get to connect with the parents as much as we should, for sure, especially with the younger kids, like in those most important years, like 0 to 5, when they're learning how to self-regulate and they're getting ready for kindergarten, and we just aren't meeting those needs. So I wanted to be able to give practical advice as well from a mom who understands, who is there, like right with you. I have current stories and examples to share with you. So please let me help you bring presence and patience and practical parenting into your house so that you can unlock parenting, right? See what I did there? And win. And for your kids too, like for your kids to win. And that's the most important thing. So when I was putting together the summit, my husband kept saying, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to talk about? And I said, oh, well, I'll just, talk about what nobody else is going to be talking about. So I finalized the speakers, finalized the topic list, and I realized that digital life screen time is not being covered. And I go, oh, man. Like, I have to cover screen time. Ugh, no one is going to like me after this session, right? But so my optimistic mindset like took over and said, no, Christine, like you can do this. You can share your facts and your story and recommend alternative activities that and hopefully not scare anybody away. So I need your support. Do I have your permission to speak about a highly debated and unlikable topic, balancing digital life? Um, Thank you for popping that in the chat. I need that. So I am a facts girl. I I want to know what the facts are. I want to know what's recommended before I decide how I'm going to do things, right? So that being said, while we look at the facts and what's recommended, please keep an open mind, but also be honest with yourself too. So first, think to yourself, and if you're brave, sure, go ahead and drop it in the chat. How much time are your kiddos, are your kids spending in front of the screens? Just think about it. And if you want, you can write it down. If you're watching the replay, just push that pause button and write it down. Like really think about it, really calculate it out, like about how much time every day are your kids sitting in front of the TV or in front of an iPad or a cell phone, even if you're using it like in the store or whatever, especially with everything that's been going on. I know a lot of my parenting friends have been saying like, oh, like, we're just crammed inside and we keep turning on the TV. So just think about how much time you're actually spending. So now let's look at what is recommended. And note, there are like many different numbers that are floating around out there. Even when I took an average of what is found online, my doctor actually recommends something different. So there's lots of different lines of thought here. But here's what the average is. Are you ready? 0 to 1.5. They recommend none. Now remember, this is just recommended. Like we have a 1-year-old in our house and we do use screen time. Okay, so bear with me. So in this case where they say none, they're thinking, and they're right. Eye-to-eye contact is always better. Hanging with your child, playing and reading is always going to win, even if you're the one watching. So let me say that again. Even if you're the one who's like watching a device or the TV, you're still depriving your kids of that bonding time, right? But like I said, this is just the recommended. 1.5 to 2, they recommend some. They don't even put a number with it. But they do recommend that it's educational and with supervision. And then age 2 to age 5, they say up to 1 hour a day. And again, educational and with supervision. So now, write down what the recommended amount is next to your actual number. And what do you see? So again, this is just recommended. So if you're watching the replay, pause it and write down how much is recommended. So 0 to 1.5 is none, 1.5 to 2 is some, and 2 to 5 is 1 hour. And if you've got older kids, like you can just look online and kind of search and see what they recommend for the older kids as well. Okay, so what does too much screen time mean? According to research and science, gaining weight, obesity, sleep problems, lower self-esteem, behavioral problems, less focus, less creativity, less independent play, loss of empathy, which is the ability to understand and share feelings, which is like a huge piece of us teaching our toddlers as they're learning about the world and learning about those feelings and how to act. And then also communication problems. And as a teacher, like I see this all the time. As I know I look young, but I'm actually kind of getting up there. Every time I get to like the next 10, you know what I mean? Like you first you think 20 is big, and then 30, and then 40, and then 50. But really it's not. Like you get to that next number and you're like, oh, it's really not that bad. But I've been teaching for quite a while now, and I feel like I'm starting to see things kind of get worse. So anyway, let's talk about some real life. So my husband and I were pretty good about monitoring our kids' screen time, Logan, our first kid, when it was just one kid, okay, just Logan. But when number 2 came along, Emmett, I had to do something with Logan while I was breastfeeding Emmett. And Logan started to act out a bit when I was feeding Emmett. And to combat this, I turned on the TV. And do you know how many times an infant breastfeeds? That's right, a bunch. And Logan was getting way more screen time than I personally approved of. And I bet you can guess what happened. So Logan started to whine like the PJ Masks. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody else have some PJ Mask watchers in their house? The PJ Masks, they're always using like this whining voice when they talk. And one PJ Mask normally has like a bad behavior, and they have to try to overcome that to beat the villain, to win, and they normally kind of have that bad behavior the whole time in the show until the very end where they learn to like work together. And so Logan was picking up on that bad behavior and wasn't really getting the moral of the story because he was kind of too young, right? And I wasn't explaining it to him either. So he was getting that bad behavior. And then what about Paw Patrol? Do we have any Paw Patrol watchers? This is like a huge show. Like, it seems like everybody loves Paw Patrol. All my kids at school are always talking about Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol. And yes, I could probably sing you all of the little kid theme songs as a music teacher. But anyway, so Paw Patrol. Humdinger's nephew, right, in Paw Patrol. Does anybody know what I mean? That nephew is always kind of like huffing around, like he's always upset, and he's always got like a devious plan going on. And he wants his own town. He wants that meteor. He wants. And he's always acting deviously. And Logan even like started to do his little like devious laugh, okay? So does your kid act like a cartoon or a character on a show that they watch? Maybe, maybe not. So you better believe that we started to cut screen time down, and I had to get like really creative with breastfeeding time. And I saw someone was popping in the chat about the breastfeeding time as well. So I started to make sure that I had books near me, like on the couch, so that I could read. I did like alphabet flashcards. Sometimes I would just do snack time during that time, and the list goes on and on. But I also had to like sit at different places during the house instead of just sitting in like the comfortable couch, right? I had to go into Logan's room and sit with him like on the floor while he's playing, or I had to sit in the living room near the toys to try to keep him engaged rather than having to turn on that TV. So it took way more effort, but within just like a few days, that whining was like starting to go away, and that nephew attitude was cut. Occasionally, like he'll still like he'll talk about a meteor, like he needs a meteor. But that attitude and that bad behavior is gone because we're not watching that show. Okay, so what if you do need to cut a little bit of screen time? Now what? What will you and your kids do with all that extra time? So here are just like 6 ideas. One thing that we do every day is a dance party, and this like totally lifts your spirits too. We just throw on Pandora and like Disney Channel. We like a lot of the jazz stations because they're like aren't words, but they're just like really peppy and jazzy. Playing outside, just getting out there, even if you're like just playing with rocks or grass or sticks, they just love being outside. Cleaning. I saw some people who were asking about like cleaning and trying to keep their house clean with kids and stuff. And like, you totally can have a clean house with kids. Now, is my house always clean? No. But for the most part, like, we've got things cleaned up by the time the kids are in bed. And then I don't have to worry about it when they go to sleep. You can even give, like, we used to give Logan a dry paper towel, and he would wash the windows or the TV stand and stuff. Sometimes I would give him a wipe, and he would just, wipe the floors and the couch. And he was like so proud of himself that he was helping. Now he's old enough that we even spray on like the window spray and stuff, and he helps clean the lower part of the door. Like, it has all those window panes in it, and then we clean the top part. So we like work together. Vacuuming. Our kids love vacuuming. I literally have Emmett on my hip, right? And he's like trying to help vacuum, and Logan's like down under the vacuum handle, and he's like helping to push. They love vacuuming. Logan loves to clean the toilet. Yes, with some supervision, of course, but he absolutely loves it. And afterwards, we were always like, "Oh, look how clean the toilet is! Like, you did a great job, right?" How about like the basement. So Logan and I, when Emmett was napping, we would go into the basement and we would just clean, clean, clean. Cause it was a disaster. Like this was no small feat. Sure, most of the time he was just playing. Sometimes he was helping, but I was getting things done while still taking care of the kids. Making food. Logan loves helping out making the food, even if sometimes he's just standing there on the chair, watching and kind of like playing with something up on the counter while I'm cooking, while Emmett's sleeping. But he's still there and helping and being a part of the family. Doing a craft. This doesn't have to be something that you plan out. It can literally just be coloring, finger painting, painting a rock, making some kind of animal out of a paper plate. Most of the activities that I do take like no prep at all. We just do them. Reading, not just reading before bed, but reading throughout the entire day, like keeping books accessible all through your house in different rooms, in baskets down on their level, so that they see those books and switch out the books. Like every weekend I try to switch out the books that are in the basket in the living room so that it draws them in and they want to read. Learn a song, learn anything really, like think kindergarten readiness, right? This is like a topic that's near and dear to my heart as a teacher. Just learning the numbers and letters. And all of this stuff you can do with little to no prep, really. Just involving your kid in anything and everything. Like they just love being with you and helping. Even if doing the laundry takes twice as long. Does anybody know what I'm talking about here? Whenever we go to like do the dishwasher or the laundry, it always takes twice as long. But they're there, they're with us, they're watching, they're helping. Even Emmett, who's only one, he likes to keep pulling like the little claws that we use for lunch and dinner, like cleaning the face and the hands and stuff. He likes to he picks them out, and we didn't show him how to do that. He watched us do. We did show him. We modeled. You know what I mean? And he picked up on that. They love it. We did corn on the cob a couple weeks ago, and we put like like a picnic blanket like down on the floor, and Logan was helping to peel all those hairs off the corn, and Emma was just holding the cord, just like so proud that he was there with us. So sometimes it can feel like cutting screen time or TV time, not like cutting completely, or you can if you want, but if you're limiting that, it might feel like life is a little bit harder. But there are so many things you can do with little to no prep. And I 100% guarantee that you and your kids are going to feel better. Getting up and doing something can completely change your mood. Like, you know how they say when you're feeling down, just go do something, like clean out that junk drawer that you've been wanting to get to, or water the garden, go get the mail, go through your clothes, pick out the stuff you don't wear. Like anything to just create momentum is going to lift your spirits, seriously. And you will not regret choosing that activity, that action over sitting in front of a screen. So not only a mood shift, but creating those meaningful connections, right? Building that lasting relationship. The more that you can play alongside your child and stay active and show that you want to be with them because you do, the behaviors are going to shift. You're going to see better behavior, more consistent behavior. And remember, like building that relationship gives you impact. So sure, we can talk about all the facts, all the science, but what about that connection that you're losing with your child? Building that better relationship, doing these things, connecting, building the relationship, communicating down on their level, eye to eye. I guarantee that you are going to see better behavior in your child. And yes, more goes into better behavior, like being consistent, knowing how to talk to your child, letting them be heard, helping them understand their emotions, being patient, using positive parenting strategies, but keeping your kids active and busy instead of using that TV or that screen as a distraction is going to win in the short term, but also in the long term as well. So now you might be saying, okay, Christine, where is the balance that you promised us? Where is that balancing digital life piece? So I'm glad you asked. Maybe you could cut screen time altogether. Maybe that's something that your family wants to do. Maybe you want to use it as just an added learning tool, or maybe you want to save it for for save that screen time for stuff like a trip to Florida. Like I live in PA, so a Florida trip would take forever. So the books and the songs and the toys are gonna run out really fast, right? How about when your kid's sick? Or maybe you have a really important phone call that you need to make. Or here's some practical life for you. So the 2 nights ago, my hubby needed a haircut, right? And Emmett went to sleep early, so we let Logan have some screen time in the bathroom with us while I'm cutting Tim's hair. So some practical parenting for you. And then also using the screen time for like family themed days. Like this is something that I absolutely love doing, especially on the weekends, like having a theme day where like your food and your activities all circular around like a movie. Now, we never watch a movie all in one sitting. Like it takes like 4 days, to get through a movie. You don't have to watch the whole movie. And that's like a cool thing. So if you do use the TV or the screen time, and like I said, we use it to kind of calm down, and it's part of like our routine towards the end of the day. We kind of use it. We use it like 5-10 minutes just to kind of, okay, we're calming down. It's nighttime. We get in our pajamas. We brush our teeth. We read our books. We go to bed. And it's just part of that routine for us. So I'm not saying like cut it out completely, but if you are using the TV and the screen time, make sure that it is educational. Make sure that characters in the show are ones that you would want your kids to act like. Watch with your child. Talk about what they watch, what's real, what's not real. How did it make them feel? What can they learn from what they watch? And you never have to like binge watch. You never have to feel like, oh, like my kid needs to see the whole episode. No, they really don't. Like just a piece here, a piece there, and that's fine. So I hope that you're getting some value today, and I hope you don't hate me for talking about screen time. So give me some love in the chat so that I can keep moving, because the next thing that I have to say is going to blow you away. I mean, maybe not everyone. Maybe I'm alone in what I found, but I kind of doubt that I'm the only one. And this is going to be some tough love. So I hope you're ready. Tough love. Here we go. What about you? What about you as a parent? What about your screen time? So how much time a day are you on your phone? What are you doing on your phone? Do your kids ask you questions when you're on the phone, and then like not like talking on the phone, but even just like scrolling on your phone, right? Do they ask you a question and you don't really know what you just said yes to, or you don't really know what they're saying? Or did your child just rip a book because you weren't watching them, you were distracted on your phone, you weren't like maybe reading or helping them? Or what if the kids are come to you crying, right? And you don't know who hit who or what really happened. You just know somebody's crying and something bad probably happened, and you don't know, and you can't address the situation. You can't teach those siblings how to work together because you don't really know what happened because you were on your phone. What are we modeling to our kids? What are we modeling? We have so much power as parents. Our kids are watching our every move and soaking in every word. The way that we act, even when it's not towards them, it's consumed and it's processed and it's regurgitated. And now, sure, just because somebody grows up in a certain home doesn't mean that their life is going to turn out that way. Their life could be better. It could be the same. It could be worse. And I know we all want better, of course, right? So take action. Be a better you, be a better parent, know your child, and know how to set them up for success. And that's why you're here, right? You're already making the difference. And that's so amazing. So we have the strongest influence on our kiddos. We are the model, not the teachers. Yes, the teachers are a model too, and they're going to learn from their teachers. But you have the biggest impact. You have the biggest impact on your kids. And this model includes how much time we are in front of a screen. We are showing them what is important, and hopefully not what is more important than them, which I know, and you know, your kiddos are always and will be the most important thing. So jump back with me in my story about Logan acting out when I was breastfeeding Emmett. And at first, I turned to the TV to distract him, which if you're tuning in late with us, no worries. But I already talked about how like this was bad, like that I was using the TV to distract from that bad behavior. But what I discovered is it wasn't the jealousy of the time that Emmett was getting breastfeeding. It was the fact that I was on my phone. And like this is hard to admit. Not paying any attention to either one of them. And I know you might be thinking, you don't understand, Christine. You don't know my house. You don't know what I have to do. I have to work on my phone. I need to check my email, whatever it may be. I said the same thing. I said, I'm trying to work my direct sales business. I want to be able to quit my job. I really want to do this. But it didn't take me long to figure out that when I was on my phone, my kids were acting out. And that's because Logan wasn't getting that attention. I wasn't connecting with him. I wasn't building that deeper relationship with him. I was wasting that time that I could be spending with him. So I also saw the same situation destroy a family that I know. The kids started to act up at home and at school, and the parents like barely had a relationship. And this was all because of a phone. And nothing is worth more to you than your family. So I made a vow to put down my phone. I only was going to work my direct sales business after the kids went to bed. And you know what? I still became team leader. I started making even more money because that time after the kids went to bed was more focused. I started connecting with my kids more. I was down on the level, playing with them, interacting, reading, looking into their eyes, teaching them how to communicate and play and respect and listen and use their manners and share with each other. And the list goes on and on. So now, my situation wasn't that bad. I didn't spend a lot of time on my phone during the day while I was hanging out with the kids, but it was enough to make a big impact. Like, I wasn't on my phone that much, but it made a huge difference, an impact that I did not want. But so I've seen even more cell phone abuse destroy families. And it's really eating away at our world. So now I am not anti-phone. I am not anti-TV, but like we need to look around. Like what is going on? I see couples on dates. Tim and I went on a date finally. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've got young kids, you feel like you like can't go on a date or you don't want to trust anyone with your kids, right? So we finally get on a date and I see these other people on dates and they're on their phones and they're not communicating at all. So they were really having like a date with their phones, right? So we were just at the playground one of these warm days a couple days ago, and there was a mother on the playground and she was sitting on the bench on her phone, and her kid was probably about the same age as Logan, so probably about like 3, and her kid has their shoes off and they're running up and down the slides, you know what I mean? And I keep telling Logan, no, we don't go up the slide, we go down the slide. And there's this kid modeling that, sure, you just go up the slide, because the parent wasn't paying any attention. And was anyone getting hurt? No. Was it a big deal that they were going up the slide instead of down the slide? No. But it's the same thing like when you're driving along the road, right? I have to stay on the right side of the road so that I'm not running into cars. And it's kind of like the same thing with the slide, right? Anyway, she was on her phone, so she had no idea what was going on. And like this goes for all ages, like not just toddlers and not just for kids, like screen time, we all need to be evaluating this. So how about visiting other families? Maybe some of you have seen this. Logan, we were at a family's place we were visiting, and Logan goes up to the family member to talk to them, and they're on their phone, playing probably some stupid game or scrolling on Facebook or whatever. And they totally missed that time when Logan was trying to talk to them and communicate with them. Like they were missing that time with their little relative Logan. And don't get me wrong, I used to do the same thing when I was over at people's houses, but now I know, and I've learned from this, from seeing my own kids, and I'm not going to do that to other people. If I'm visiting, I'm going to try to be connecting with them and not be on my phone. So how about this story? A family member starts watching like little kid song show kind of thing on YouTube with Logan. Logan gets up in their lap and they start to binge watch these dumb songs on YouTube. And the like, kids don't know any better. Logan could have sat there all day long. And my hubby, praise the Lord, he says to the family member, that's enough screen time. Logan would sit there all day. Let's get him outside. And of course, the relative was mad. Um, but like, what are cell phones doing to us? You know what I mean? Um, and like, we can't even communicate like on dates, like I said, or visiting family. We constantly have to be like on our phones for what? Like, trust me, your email can wait, scrolling on Facebook can wait, watching that TV show can wait. They've got reruns, right? Snapchat can wait, Instagram can wait, tons of distractions can wait. Or maybe I'm not talking to you today. Maybe screen time isn't a problem for you, but is there something else that's taking you away from your kids? Be honest with yourself. It could be something else. So think right now, is there something that's taking you away from that valuable time with your kids? What is taking you away from your kids and your hubby or that significant person in your life? What could you cut? What could you prioritize better? Where could you do better? What could you automate to make things go smoothly when you're not looking at your phone, right? And be big enough to admit it. Get help if you need it. Get a plan. Put that plan into action. Do you need a coach to check in with you? Do you need accountability? So let's say, get out of the parenting realm for a second. Let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. Now, you might be the kind of person that is like, I don't need a coach. I can do this myself. And yeah, you go and you do it yourself. Yeah, that's awesome. But maybe you're the kind of person that is like, I need to fast track this. I need a coach. I need someone who's going to call me out, and they're going to give me all the recipes that I need. They're going to give me all the food lists, the shopping lists. They're going to give me exercises to save time and fast track so I can lose that weight. And maybe that's you. Maybe you would need that coach. So parenting is the same way. You might be on like a high from the summit, but what about in a few weeks? Do you need someone checking in with you? Do you need more repetition? Do you need cheat sheets to like save you time and help you to make take action? Do you need a coach to hold you accountable? Whatever it is, maybe not a coach, but find out what works for you. So when I discovered this whole cell phone thing was like taking me away from my kids, I tried keeping my phone on so I could still hear all the alerts. But of course, that just made me want to look at my phone more, right? So I decided to turn off the alerts, but keep the phone on just in case like a family member called or an important phone call came through. And I decided that I was only going to work like my direct sales business during nap time and after the kids went to bed. Now, we all know that nap time doesn't last forever. Logan doesn't nap anymore. He's 3. And Emmett is down to 1 nap already. But some people also have like a quiet time, and maybe this could be your time to get on your phone for a second. You know, if you feel like that addiction, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm not going to look at it all day. When the kids go to quiet time or go to sleep or whatever, that's my time. So make a plan, but know that the plan might have to change, just like I had to change my like alerts on my phone. And then stick to the plan that works and find that accountability if you need it. So now think, what can happen if we model less screen time? Well, more connection, more respect, better behavior, and it is going to be easier down the road when you've got a teenager, right? And you want them to be on their phone less. You won't have a problem because you were a good model and boundaries were set and modeled, and it was all set ahead of time. And modeling is so important, and not just for screen time balance, but for everything. Like, your kid will know without a doubt that they are the center of your world. So help your child learn what they need to learn so that they can succeed in this world. And I mean, isn't that our ultimate goal? We want to see our kids succeed. So now, nobody wants to think about like the negative, but sometimes we need that negative to kind of light the fire under us. So here we go. Are you ready? This can be scary. I was speaking with a grandmother friend of mine, and she said well, she was like kind of asking me, she was like, how many words does Logan know? And, she was questioning me, and I said, oh, well, he's talking in like 5-word sentences. And this is when Logan was, I think it was about a year ago now. And I'm like, he can count to 10, he's learning his letters, and he finishes words and songs as we're singing, and you get the picture. And the grandmother goes, oh, my granddaughter can only say a few words. And they were the same age, like Logan and the granddaughter were the same age. And she believed that it was because the parents were always on their phone and they weren't talking, like when you're on your phone, you're not talking as much. Your kids aren't getting as many words, and they're not hearing that. Remember, they're hearing it, they're processing it, and they're regurgitating it, even when they're not talking it. And you better believe that this is true. So, do you know how honest my kids are at school, those elementary school kids? A child told me once, I tried to get my mom to sign this paper, but she just won't put her phone down to do anything. Like, this is no lie. This is a story that a kid said this to me. And how about this one? A little boy says, my dad is always playing video games and wouldn't help me with my homework, so I couldn't get this done. And worse stories. But I also hear amazing things too. Like, kids they love their parents. They're that model. Like, they know that that's what they're looking up to. So what could happen if you don't put your phone down or turn the TV off, or whatever it is for you? If it's not screen time, whatever it is that could possibly be taking you away from your kids. Short term, maybe less connection, less respect, behavioral issues. Long term, like issues with communication, screen addiction, less focus in school, academics going down. And I mean, I don't have to tell you where that could even go from there. But I don't want to be negative. So let's get back to the positive. But sometimes it's important to know the negative side so that we don't, right? So what you need to do is to find that balance, right? Know the limits, know what is recommended, know what your limits are going to be, and stick to those limits. And then know what the material is. What is it educational? I actually ended up buying a couple of apps that were more educational, so that when we did need to use that iPad, we knew that it was educational material. And then watching shows and movies with your kids, make sure that they're not too scary and they're educational, and the characters portray characteristics that you want your kids to have. So can you save screen time for something special, adding it as an educational bonus, using it to look up a recipe or do a craft, or FaceTime with like Mimi and Papa, right? Can you use it for something like that? Instead of using it as a distraction, get up and get moving, get active and dance and sing and do a craft and make something and clean and just do it, right? You don't need a lot of prep. So again, I hope that you're finding some value and can balance some digital life in a healthy way. Talking screen time is hard, but it is important. And so give me some love in the chat. Do I still have your permission to share one more story? One more story. I know we're going over, but I'm almost done. Okay, thank you. So when I was pregnant with Emmett, our second child, I got that first ultrasound, and the doctor said to me, I thought you maybe had twins, but I don't think that second thing is a baby. So right, my heart is like going, right? Going from, oh, there could be twins, because like that's what it looked like, and then he's like, oh no, I don't think this one's a baby. So I had to go through like a bunch of testing, and of course my heart is just like pounding. And then I get a call in a couple of days, and the doctor says, are you sitting down? And I'm like, he says, you need to come to the ER right now. You have a baby in the uterus where it's supposed to be, which was Emmett, and then you have one that is stuck in the fallopian tube, and this is life-threatening, and the surgery is life-threatening. I mean, insta tears, right? So after the instant tears and the emotion, and we're on the way to the ER, surprisingly, God gave me this like calming sense. And like, I'm literally hanging on God, trying to get through this, as I know I'm going into like a life-threatening surgery. But if I don't go into surgery, it's life-threatening as well. So I'm literally hanging on God, and I knew he was telling me, he said, Christine, you need to impact more lives. Your story is not done. So I was rushed over to Hershey and went right into surgery. And praise the Lord, it ended up not being another baby stuck in a fallopian tube. It was just a dermoid cyst that was actually attached somewhere near like the ovary. And so it wasn't another baby at all. It wasn't life-threatening. So Emmett and I both survived the surgery. I mean, God is good, right? And I still have more to accomplish. So after the surgery, it took a while to recover from the surgery because I was pregnant, right? I went through the surgery and I was pregnant with Emmett. So I'm recovering, and then I get back to school, and I'm trying to like plan like the Christmas concert and everything like in way less time, and finish out the pregnancy and deliver Emmett. And I just kind of forgot about that impact that God was telling me about, that that allowed me to be calm after the instant tears, right? That allowed me to be calm until COVID-19 hit. So now once that hit and we were like trapped in our homes, right? I started to remember this. God put it on my heart again. And he said, you need to impact as many lives as possible, as many families as possible. And yes, I am impacting kids at school as an elementary teacher, but I want to use those elementary teacher skills and my parenting life to change your life, to change more lives. And so all the speakers have given free gifts at the end of their session. And so my free gift to you is this summit. And I really hope that it blessed you. And that's why I'm going to give you an opportunity. And it's totally no pressure. And I kept going back and forth about, should I do this? Should I not? But I want you to know that it's there. So I am going to just go over here and share my screen for a second. All right, start broadcasting. Microphone is on still. Okay. And I am going over here, and I just want to show you something that I offer. Again, totally no pressure. So Parenting Unlocked, I offer a coaching program, and it's starting up here in July. And you can read about it here. It's parentingunlockedcoaching.com. But here are the 7 things that you'll discover. So positive parenting, how to deal with tantrums, how to talk to your child, how to balance your digital life, more than what I just talked about today. Budgeting, budget-friendly activities, encouraging kindergarten readiness. And this is like so important. Like as a teacher, like I'm seeing these kids come in, and through all of the years that I've been teaching, like something is happening. And I really want to be able to help parents know and help them get their kids ready for this. And not just with that self-regulation piece, but also like, what do they actually need to know going into kindergarten? Because let me tell you, like, here is the truth. We've got 20 to 25 kids in a classroom. And yeah, we're supposed to be differentiating for all these different kids, but you've got your kids that are behaving and doing what they're supposed to be, and then you're gonna have some of those kids that don't know how to self-regulate. And the teacher is they're having to spend so much time with that child or those children trying to teach them that self-regulation. So like you want to definitely make sure that your kid is ready for kindergarten, so that you don't have to have that child who's getting the phone call from the teacher, but you also, you've got the kid who is able to continue doing their work and what they need to do while the teacher is trying to deal with these kids. So anyway, here are the benefits. So 7 live trainings with full access to replays. So as the new coaching programs come out and stuff, you'll always have access to the newest, latest coaching program. And there'll be 4 question and answers. And I know we all have like questions that we want to ask that's like specific to our kids. So I wanted parents to be able to do this. A couple of bonuses you can see. There will be a Facebook group where there will be every day I'll post a new activity. So like after your kids go to bed, you can check what the activity is and you can think about that. Oh yeah, I can do this during the week. And like you don't really need to buy like hardly anything for these, and it's budget friendly, easy to do, low prep. And then how to talk to your child, like a cheat sheet. And also bonus, kindergarten readiness. So then for the first 25 people to sign up, there is a fast action bonus. Number one, which is a goodie box of $50 worth. It's got like activities in it for your kids and stuff. And then fast action bonus number two is a one-on-one game plan where I actually call and talk to you and we find out what you need and what your kids need, and we come up with a plan to help you. And maybe it's more for you. Whatever you need, like I am here. So this is like huge value. A lot of like for parenting consulting, it's like $125 plus to have a 1 hour session. And I am offering all of this. So like 11 sessions and all these bonuses for only $197. And this is my way to give back during this time. So my question is to you, do you want to be a present, patient, practical, and purposeful parent? Do you maybe need someone to come alongside you? There will be lives, but then there will also be replays and stuff. So I'm going to hop back over here to Zoom and stop sharing my screen. Ha! Okay, I'm back. Woohoo! So anyway, like I said, totally no pressure. It's just an opportunity for you. And I just wanted to give during this time, especially as all this time that we've been stuck in our homes, right? I wish I had come to you sooner. But I want to be able to bless families more. So again, totally no pressure, just something out there. And then, for the airport. Oh, yes, for the airport. So all you need to do to enter is to message me on Facebook, or you can just email me the words, "I love my toddler." That's all you need to do to enter. So Facebook, message me, or email me, which is parentingunlocked@gmail.com. So I have a couple other things that I offer, a couple other free things as well. And I will be posting those later this week so that you have all my resources and you can stay connected with me. I really want to see you go through your parenting journey. And so I want to just thank you for sticking with me today. I hope that I delivered some value, and that you will think about the time that you and your kids are spending on screen time. And I hope that you have the courage to limit that screen time if that's you, and get up and get moving and just keep your toddler active and balance that digital life. I also hope that you don't hate me from delivering this really hard message on balancing that digital life. So God bless you all, and I will see you tomorrow. We've got 2 more amazing speakers. So thank you again. All right, see you guys tomorrow.